Ordinance introduction 2020-1 sign ordinance. Mr. Downey.
Your Honor, before council is a proposed amendment of the sign ordinance. This is a rather comprehensive rewrite that took place over, Mr. Beers here, probably over the course of the entire calendar year of 2019. There were several different iterations of it, and we sort of teased this last month with the ordinance amendment to sidewalk the people on sidewalks who are serving as signs. So this is the actual document itself proposed for introduction at tonight's meeting.
I'll make a motion to introduce the document.
I'll support your motion.
All right, the motion is made and supported to introduce the sign ordinance. Is there any questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Koopa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Watt?
Yes.
Ellery?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carrie Drona.
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. McCartney, Mr. Kinsfater. I know you guys put a lot, and Mr. Beer and all them people on that sign ordinance. Ooh.
Yes, they did.
Yes, you guys. Okay, then we'll go to B. Budget adjustments, 2018-2019. Mr. Rothy.
So the budget amendments we discussed at our workshop in the last hour, this resolution would essentially make those effective while also rescind all the ones that were done previously.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Koopa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Watt?
Yes.
Ellery?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carrie Drona.
Thank you. Let's go to number 6, reports of administration. Mr. Rothy, what do you got tonight?
Several things. First, we have extended an offer and had it accepted to fill our city accountant position. The person taking on, her name is Amy. She is a St. Clair native. She will be coming on board 2 weeks from today. Really excited to have her on board. I think it's clear to me that with all the accounting that was typically done at the close of the fiscal year, at the end of the fiscal year, having and looking at the costs of outsourcing, it was still significantly less expensive to cover our current needs with a full-time employee. I'd like to bookend that with a statement on the new health insurance plan that was offered to our police officers. 3 of them elected to take the coverage with MESA, which is a health insurance organization that primarily provides insurance to public schools in Michigan. The cost savings of just those 3 employees switching so far are, I don't have the exact number because our officers changed insurance coverages on and off last year, but at minimum it's $3,000 a month less we are saving just on that one thing. So that covers a great majority of those the accountant's costs. So I'd like to always try to bookend that with some good news on the budget side of things. But I'm really excited about this candidate incoming employee. I think she's going to be a great fit, and I'll be happy to have her on board helping me with all the finance stuff. Other than that, the only thing that I did not really mention as a goal, it's just a short-term goal of mine, is the parking lot upstairs in City Hall. I have Bob Beath getting several quotes to present to council, hopefully at our next meeting, to move forward with that. There's money in this year's budget to do that project that was planned for anyway in 2021. I'm like, when I came here, I'm like, that parking lot's so bad. I thought that would be a good project to undertake this year, so I will have bids for that incoming very soon. Otherwise, I've enjoyed my New Year so far, and I hope you all have too.
Any questions from Mr. Rothy? Mr. City Attorney, what do you got?
Your Honor, I just have one item. It's not on tonight's agenda, but I do want to, as a courtesy to Mr. Hayes and to anyone else that's been following this, I want to give an update on the city's investigation of Mr. Hayes' complaints about the home occupation issue on 8th Street. We had been awaiting an opinion by my colleague, Brandon McNamee. That was received on New Year's Eve, and because of it looks like some sort of a software error. I was not able to communicate that to administration until the weekend. Therefore, we don't have anything on tonight's agenda. But I do want to summarize, and I think that council has now received copies of Mr. McNamee's opinion. To summarize, he has essentially concluded that the city does not have a claim against the owner of the barber shop for any misrepresentations, because the way the city's ordinance reads, it lists that a person seeking a designation of home occupancy must have a residence in the city. And residence is rather loosely defined, that a person must live at the premises some of the time. It doesn't say how much, but some of the time. And Mr. McNamee suggests that if we wanted to tighten that up, we could use a term of art known as domicile. A domicile is a person's primary residence, and that would be a question of fact that would be created. But even, I think Mr. Hayes would conclude or consider that the occupant of the home is there sometime, and that it's a very low bar to clear, and that he does in fact clear that bar, so therefore he recommends no further action being taken. But it might be an issue that I could bring to council as a proposed ordinance amendment to maybe make the definition of what constitutes a home a little tighter.
Would he then be grandfathered in?
Well, as I understand it, he's living there now, so it would, if he were to move, he would have to forfeit that designation.
Okay.
So it's to our interest to turn it to domicile so it doesn't occur up and down Clinton Avenue and other areas in the city.
I think so, yeah. Yep.
All right.
I agree. Let's tighten that up. That last, we don't need to deal with that like that again. We need to have it tight. Anything else?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right. Any city departments tonight?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Chief.
Thank you.
As I start my 39th year in this law enforcement profession and my third year as your chief, I got some good news. First of all, where's Officer Schroll and Trends? Earlier this year, I introduced them as my cadets. Well, they took their own money and put themselves through the police academy in Macomb, and I hired them as part-time officers. So these are your two new officers serving you. Okay. They're doing a good job so far. They're in their first phase of training. They have 2 more to go. So, and also, the department I inherited is incredible, who Chief Richardson and Barnum put together, and they do things on their own. I had 2 of the officers left, Jake and Colin. Colin takes care of most of our Facebook stuff and keeps us in the community. Jake is a trainer, and he headed up that whole rifle thing with Annette and the city superintendent, so they do their own thing. And then I got a guy named Corporal Ennis here who just takes it upon himself, and I'll let him explain what he did with Cargill Salt.
Evening, Council, Mayor.
Evening.
So, I always kind of think of how can we improve our city, how can we improve our community, how can we improve our police department. I have many thoughts, but obviously a lot of them require financial needs, which we don't necessarily have money to spend on certain things. But my next project I wanted to work on was what we want to do was what we call a safe space in our parking lot. And by safe space, that's basically a spot where people can come to our parking lot and exchange goods. On Facebook, on Craigslist, if people still use that, on Leco app, but people can come to our parking lot and do these exchanges and feel safe. And I wanted to make this happen. And currently, I'm not sure if you guys knew, but we only had 1 camera in our parking lot, which was, I think it's original to the building, 2000. And it faced 1/4 of our parking lot. So we would catch a car that go by it and leave, but we didn't see anything else. So I kind of wanted to get some more cameras so we can get full coverage to our parking lot. I really didn't know how to do it, but starting with reaching out to my buddy, Lee Westrick here from Cargill Salt. I met him a few times when semis played bumper cars back there. So we made contact a few times. So I reached out to him and says, hey, would Cargill like to help me sponsor this program? And he said, of course, 100% we'll do that, which got me in contact with Rini, who kind of heads a program called Cargill Cares. And after submitting a letter to them, they were able to give me the funding. Well, before the funding, I asked them what company they used to do cameras, and they said MDK out of Port Huron. So I reached out to MDK. They came down here, gave me a quote for about $750 for 3 cameras. And which is awesome is MDK, what they did, they're going to sponsor us a DVR. So they gave us a nice 3-week, 2 terabyte DVR at no charge to us. So we got the cameras by Cargill, we got MDK giving us the DVR, and the rest of the money for the installation we use from our couple year ago sponsor event at the American Legion Hall. So this was paid for 0% by taxpayers, which is awesome. I wanted this to be a community kind of place where they can do exchanges. So in a few weeks, I don't have the signs up yet. Thorpe Printing out of Marysville is doing them, and they have it done. I'm just waiting for them to print them out. But basically, we're going to put these signs in our parking lot. And what they say is, it says safe space, exchange location. This area is under 24-hour surveillance, and it has our 2 sponsors on there. So we're going to have these 2 signs, or a couple of these signs on the post in the parking lot. We're mainly going to focus on the northwest corner of the parking lot where the 2 light posts are. It's a well-lit area, but we do have full coverage now of our parking lot. So we have 2 cameras in this parking lot facing each direction. Then we have an entrance camera, so we can see cars coming in, cars going out. So if someone has an issue with whatever they exchange on the internet, we'll have at least a vehicle, we'll have a description, and through Facebook, we'll kind of work our magic and figure out what's going on. So hopefully our community can use it, and adjacent communities can also use it, East China, St. Clair. So I think a lot of people go to Marysville or Neiman's Market, and I'm not sure the camera coverage there, but it being in a police department hopefully provides an extra layer of security. And also it provides additional security for, we got a daycare here, our city hall employees, and also the police department. So it's kind of a win-win on every level. So I do have a plaque here for Cargill, if they want to come up here, just showing our appreciation for this program. I don't have MDK here tonight, but I do want to appreciate what they did to sponsor this. So this is Rini from Cargill Salt. Just want to say thank you for having this program. Any questions?
Good job.
Any questions?
Thank you, Don. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so
Rini, Lee, MDK, Cargill, wonderful. This is a wonderful announcement by you. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get this on Facebook, and hopefully we'll put it in the voice paper and just get the word out that people can come to our parking lot and they can feel safe and use this. I think we're the only department in the community. I think Port Huron has one. I'm not sure about I think Sheriff does too, but hopefully people can utilize this in this area. Okay?
Thank you. Well done. Congratulations. What else do you have for us, Chief?
See, that's the department I get to run. Isn't that awesome? And Don, he doesn't want recognition, but I'm going to do it anyway, because before Christmas, he responded to Thornapple, to an unresponsive man on the kitchen floor, and got him breathing again. So.
Chief, can I bring you up there for 1 minute, please? I just have I have a question for you. It's not going to be as fun as the last one, I don't think, but can you give the council a little update as far as the traffic situation, valet trucks unloading down to St. Clair?
Yeah. Let's just talk growing pains.
Growing pains.
They're opening. They have a plan for their garbage, but it's not until they're done. And so, actually, it just so happened, Dee Boyer and I were out there Friday at the same time. There's a new plan for their garbage. They're only going to bring it to the gate until the truck gets there, and then they're going to push it out so the truck can get it. Apparently, the truck can't get through that gate. The semis can't get in that gate. So we're trying to get the semis, if they can get in the turn lane north of Vine by about 100 feet, that's the safest place for them to be. Apparently on their drawings, there was a no parking loading, unloading in their drawings, but that is not, they haven't approached MDOT to get those signs or that permission for that. It goes from their driveway, the south turn-in driveway, to their the service gate. That's on their drawings, but they have not approached the state. The cones, I gave them permission to put the cones out when they had an event, because their first 2 major events, traffic, the valet traffic was backing out into the traffic and it was not safe. So I told them they could put some cone outs to block off some parking for big events. I didn't know that was going to turn into every day, all day. Talked to them about that on Friday too. So I did not work this morning, so I don't know if the cones were out again today. But residents, if you're watching, those cones mean nothing to you. If you want to park there and shop at the plaza, you can park there. That's not private parking. So.
All right, thank you, Chief, for being aware of
So
that.
we're there. There's still growing pains, but
Growing
hopefully
pains, yes.
we'll work it out.
Any other questions for Chief? Or? All right, thank you. The other departments? All right, let's go down to D, authorities, boards, commissions, committee chairs, council reps. Anybody? No unfinished business. Let's go to number 8, new business. A, approve engineering proposal from AOW for 2020 street projects. Mr. Rothy.
Yes, before you is an engineering proposal from AEW to do all engineering associated with the creation of bid documents and construction administration and oversight to reconstruct the following streets: 3rd, Vine to Mulberry, and Cass 6 to 10th. I know originally I had talked about doing the entire stretch of Cass, but again, as I'm finishing off our budget amendments and given the construction cost estimates in this proposal, I thought that we don't want to bite off more than we can chew. So this proposal would cover Vine to Mulberry on 3rd, Cass 10th to 6th. Also on Cass, farther down, there's some water main. There's no water main in this section of Cass. And this is important because in the future, really starting now, the city has 5 years to fully document every water service line in the city limits and verify what materials those are. And if lead is identified as one of those materials, whether it be between the shutoff valve and the water main, the shutoff valve in the home, or this thing called a gooseneck, which is essentially what connects the pipe to the water main, those need to be replaced by the city at the city's entire expense. So given that old section of homes there on Cass, I don't know, we have no documented, confirmed lead service lines in the city. But again, that's off current information. As we spend the next 5 years, in many cases, physically digging them up, which we'll get to when I ask for a new Vector truck in the coming weeks. This is, again, a state mandated thing. So again, with those unknowns, I thought it would be appropriate, and also for budget reasons, to just do 10th to 6th of Cass. Now, 2 other street projects that we're going to do this year are not in here, which do not require engineering, and that is the paving of St. Clair Highway in that spot. That's still going to be done, as well as the mill and fill of Vine from Kearney all the way to 9th. Those 2 projects do not require engineering, and Bob Beath is working on getting bids and quotes for council's consideration for those projects as well. So the only 2, so again, we're fixing 4 different roadways. 2 require the services of an engineer. They are full reconstructs, and the other 2 do not. So before you now is a proposal from AEW to do all the engineering work on those 2 streets listed.
I would make a motion to approve the engineering proposals as presented, Your Honor.
Support. All right, motion made. Support. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Platt?
Yes.
Ellery?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yeah.
Hoopa?
Yes.
And Cedar.
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll go to letter B, 8B, boards and commissions. I have a few appointments tonight with your approval. Appointments of residents to 2020 boards and commissions. Golf, reappoint Beth Obermessick for a 1-year term expiring December 31st, 2020, representing the St. Clair Lions Club. Harbor, reappoint Dennis Buchholz and Chuck Harder for 3-year terms expiring December 31st, 2022. Planning Commission, reappoint Dan McCartney for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2022. Recreation Commission, reappoint Karen Foley and Lisa Whittlesey for 3-year terms expiring December 31st, 2022. ZBA, reappoint Jim Beer and Joanne Westrick for 3-year terms expiring December 31st, 2022. I'll need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I do have 1 appointment to the Planning Commission which requires a residency waiver. Reappoint Terry Beyer for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2022.
So move, Your Honor.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We do have appointments available for the Cemetery Board of Trustees, the DDA. And the Golf Commission applications are available at City Hall. And to all those who served, thank you very much.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Not listed on that document was the appointments of council representatives. So I don't know if you want to recommend the same appointments for next year, or if you'd like to recommend those at the next meeting.
Let's do it at the next meeting. You folks can let me know what your thoughts are. All right, let's go to number 9, claims of the council, December 19, 26, 2019, January 2, 2020.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, make the motion to approve as presented.
Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go to number 10, public comment. Any questions or comments? 3 minutes. Any non-agenda item? Anybody have anything on their mind tonight?
John Shinsky, 937 Thornapple Street. Our chief alluded to a lot of problems that they're having down at the inn. I know this has been a question that's been asked since the inn has started as to where the parking's going to be. They've had some doings down there. They haven't been very busy, but I'm finding out we're having problems with people parking, getting through town. I talked to 2 people individually, and they told me they parked down by the inn, by where the houses are, the cottages, and they were approached and asked to leave. And if they wanted to park there and go through the mall, they would have to pay $7 to park there. Yes, that's true. So does the inn have a parking problem, or is the city just going to let them keep doing what they're doing? Because if they start to get busy this summer, that's going to be awful downtown.
Yeah.
We aren't going to be able to get through. And my second question is, when are we going to leave Evan Root alone? Now we're going to change the name of residence to something else, so he has to live there. Okay. They've already went and in 1 week changed the ordinance that he couldn't have a sign, a roller sign.
I think changing the language was just to stop it from happening in the future. Nothing to do with Mr. Root.
But my question is why? That area down there is multi-use. Why couldn't he go in there and get his property zoned to be in multi-use? Nobody seems to be able to answer that question. Is that not a multi-use from?
That's a single. That's not multi-use.
That's single. Isn't that multi-use?
No, stops at 6th Street, Jim.
Well, I was under the impression from the railroad tracks all the way down. Because
he never applied to have the zoning change.
He did not? You sure?
Yes.
Okay, I will go talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah, you should.
Because I talked to him and he was told.
Well, he applied, but he never showed up to the hearing.
As far as council.
Okay, I got to get my information. Because I was told, he couldn't do it because the city's master plan was not up to date and they couldn't do anything until that was up to date. So he had to go some other route.
If that's the case, then I would stand corrected, John, but to my knowledge, there was never an application came here.
But those are my 2 comments.
I just want to comment, as far as council's been directed and the attorney's recommended that no further action is going to be taken against Evan Root.
What about domicile? We want
to look at the ordinance and see if we need to tighten it up in residential areas where we call it a domicile instead of a residence.
That's fine. That's fine.
But that's not going to affect him.
Well, it sure is.
No, it won't. He's already done.
He's working.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Okay, let's move to number 11. I do have one quick announcement, and maybe Mr. Rother, you'll help me with this, but Schmoody Oil is going to hold 2 public forums, one on January 16th and one on January 23rd. Those are both Thursdays here in City Hall to answer any kind of questions or concerns that people have about the leases that they're going around and trying to get for these oil and gas exploration.
What time are those, sir?
Do we have the time yet?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
All right.
I can look it up, though. We'll communicate.
We'll get it. I just got the dates, that's all I got. Anybody else have anything?
16th and what one?
16th and 23rd, Thursdays, here, City Hall. Schmoody Oil.
Hearing nothing else, Your Honor, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
I thought you had more than that.